Jolly Xmas, governor! Alright, fellas, it's the Pixel Wankers Christmas special.
Indeed, the Christmas and Star Wars special.
It is, yeah. This is the sort of tacky, sort of end of the year recap.
Indeed.
We'll just have reruns of our, like the whole episode is reruns of our previous podcast.
Three good clips.
So here we are. We've all seen that film that everyone's like losing their
That one
minds
film.
Sisters, right?
Yeah, Sister Act.
Alvin and Chipmunks, I thought it was.
Oh.
Hood rats or whatever it is.
Way to kick a movie while it's down, guys. And deemed a failure.
They should have called it Hood Rats, actually. Seriously, that would have been funny.
Right, well, this is it.
He's Mitch. I'm Crow. That's Tim. This is Scott.
Boom.
Thank
Done.
you.
Magic.
Mitch. Way to forget.
So, kick off the celebration, Christmas cheer, with a bit of analysis of the old Star Wars.
A warm glass of Star Wars.
First off, how many times have you seen it, Scott? Twice?
Twice.
Mitch?
Once.
Steve?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah, Mitch.
Yeah, right?
We got a weak leg bet over here.
Now, you're going to see it again tomorrow.
Yep.
And
I'm going to see it again tomorrow, too.
Are you guys going on a date?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going on a date.
He is just not with Scott.
I'm going to be sitting in the seat behind you, like, breathing heavy. Like,
It's a date in Scott's mind.
You're gonna finish that popcorn. I'd be like, yes,
God.
sir, I am. Hands out.
you bring the straw up to your mouth, and I just, like, come in, like...
You do the tongue grab with your arm. Just snack.
Oh, good. Enough about how much you guys love each other. Let's get on to the
back
film.
to Star Wars.
Yeah.
The Star Wars Christmas episode.
No, it was not the Christmas special. That's a whole other mess.
Don't do this to me. The Star Wars episode?
The Star Wars Christmas episode Pixel Wingers.
Oh,
You guys didn't let me finish.
So I think it's safe to say that this is spoiler-rooney-rific because we're
Very
going to be
spoiler-heavy.
talking about
I guess
everything.
basically the unspoiler review. I liked it.
Loved it.
Luke's sex change I hated.
Yeah.
I loved the movie.
It was good. It was great.
So that's the unspoiler version. So if you didn't go see it, then go see it and turn it back on later.
Yeah, turn us off now. Because motherfucking Han died!
Oh, man.
That was quick.
Oh,
Oh, I swore!
That was quick.
I was gonna try not to swear.
Shouldn't have done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done that.
So seriously, analysis-wise, what did you guys think?
I thought it was great.
Well,
And over.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
All right, so sort of my 2 cents, I guess. I love the composition. I love the character design. I thought the action scenes were fantastic. I thought the final saber fight was brilliant. There's a little slow in a couple of places where I felt myself sort of going, oh,
You think
come
so?
on, yeah, we got to move to the next location. Yeah, like the cantina sort of scene.
you can
just
call it the
didn't-
cantina.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it's just the reggae
it's-
cantina.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
But that took ages, and then finally the action kicks up, and it's like, oh yeah, this is brilliant, you know. But that took a
You
while.
don't like the cantina?
I like the cantina scene. I just thought it was slow. I just thought it was
I
like,
didn't think so.
No?
No, I didn't. No, I'm with you. I
Yeah.
thought it was awesome.
okay. I thought it was good. I like the sort of trippy flashback sort of freak out scene.
Yeah.
But like, I just think the whole, I don't know. I just felt myself sort of grind to a little bit of a halt, and then we kicked off again. So there was a couple of times where it was a bit slow, like as well as like sort of that bit where Rey's captured and she's doing the mind trick thing. That was a little slow, but it may have just been me being like, oh man, what's next? Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
It's just sort of me being like really hyped, ready
But
to carry
do you
on.
want like a Star Wars show that's like showing you like?
No,
don't know if
but
want that,
I
you know?
also
I need time to-
I appreciate the sort of time to breathe, but I think I was just so jazzed to get to the next bit
Yeah.
that I was sort of trying to rush it.
Because he still is in that. Like we've all seen it twice, so I think we got to sit down and watch it without that anxiousness of what's next. Like what else is going to be revealed? And I mean,
Yeah.
it leaves like a ton of questions to be answered. But I mean, that first time I think I kind of felt the same way. I was just like, okay, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen? Like, and I was just so ready for like the movie to be over, not because I wanted it to be done, but because I just wanted to have the
time to
complete
actually
experience.
take,
Like I remember like even just when you get like that burst, the Star Wars at the beginning, like I felt so emotionally overwhelmed and excited for it. I was just like, this is going to go too fast and not fast enough.
Steve wet himself.
Yeah, I was so
my
excited.
seat wet already. Oh my god.
But I think on his second viewing, it's the cantina scene's not going to see him.
Yeah.
It didn't feel long the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the film in general just didn't feel like a long film. It was just me trying to rush through to get to the next
I can see
excitement.
You're the N64 kid, you know. You're just so excited, like, oh man, what are they going to show me next? You know, like. Yeah.
But I definitely give it a thumbs up. I thought that it was done really well. J.J. Abrams did a fantastic job doing his.
My boy J.J. Abrams.
But I think
my boy J.J. did a great job.
I don't think it's solely on him. I think the creative team in general did a really good job on like the practical effects and the composition in some of the scenes was fantastic.
Yeah.
The lighting was great. So, but I'll let you guys talk about the rest because I'm just basically.
The same thing. I just think it was like really great, you know. And there's a lot of comparisons that people are making already, kind of like this is just like A New Hope. It's just like it's done. It's The New Hope, but it's done well.
I want to go over that whole. I want to go with that whole bit of like what are the comparisons, why we think they're comparisons, because obviously it does have a lot to tie into that.
Yeah. I think some of the things that like were standout for me was you didn't, and we were on like a lot of us were on a complete like media blackout for Star Wars after that last trailer came out, the big one. So I didn't really know like anything about Finn going in, and I like absolutely loved his character. And like before that, I was just like, man, this guy like he like is really stressed. He sweats a lot and he breathes heavy. Like that's all you really know about his character. But then you go in and man, he was awesome. Like but so was Poe. Poe was killer.
Who had the best lines in the movie though?
Probably Poe.
I think probably Han. And I'm not trying to be nostalgic to Han, but like he had the like when Finn's like talking like, oh, it'll just the Force will do it. And he's like, that's not how the Force works. he's like, we'll get out. We always talk our way out. He's like, I always do. I
always do.
Yeah, like those little bits.
Yeah.
That was classic Harrison Ford. That like
Han.
brought me back, even though it's a very different performance now. But like that brought me back to like the old back and forth with him and Chewie. Like I love that.
It's cool while his perspective on what the Force is changed. He's still Han. Like we really got to see him like be a little bit of a smuggler again. We got to see him get himself into trouble. We got to see like classic Han, but like he's still advanced. He's still changed. Like things have still happened. You know, like and he's still become like a much different character than the Han we grew up with. But yeah, so highlights. I absolutely loved the shot where Poe takes out 8 TIE fighters while you're watching the action on the ground.
That's my favorite shot in the whole movie.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Because he's like, it's going through. You're just sailing through the scene. You're like eating up the foreground, the background. Like it's going back and forth all the way through, and then it cuts right above him. He's like, heck yeah! You know, I'm like, that's one hell of a pilot. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to get up and be like, same thing.
yeah, it was so cool. And then. I loved that lightsaber fight so much. Like the lightsaber fight in the end, the sound that they've got for the lightsaber, and I've been talking about this like ever since I saw it. They feel imposing. Like when they're on, like it feels threatening that there's this lightsaber, and it's like, oh.
It starts up with like a roar, especially Kylo Ren's. It's like,
and his is. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the cool thing about his is you can tell that it's like not professionally made. Like it's got these shitty little sparks coming off of it, and and you can tell when they're having their battle, the blue one and his together. Hers is really, really well done, and his is just it's like this really intense feeling.
It's the way he keeps himself too. Like like when he gets bad news, it's funny. Like he's like, he starts tearing up the control mouse. It's like, whoa, dude, you're on a spaceship. Like, calm down.
He's like,
that was only the
something. Realize he's like, and that's what happened to Kylo Ren.
See you, Kyle.
And then another highlight I think would be when she kind of like. When he starts telling her that he could train her in the Force, and they've got like the little lightsaber standoff, and she like realizes like she's got the ability to use the Force, and then she just clicks into it. But like that shot where they've got the two lightsabers crossing,
Yeah.
and it just kind of everything slows down.
Yeah, where
Like
she's
the-
like, and I like, if you notice, like in her eyes,
Yeah, I
how
was just
the
gonna say.
lightsabers are like crossed, and then she like closes her eyes, and she opens, and this might be geeky, but the lightsabers are like, it's not the same. They're not crossed in her eyes anymore. They're like straight up.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm gonna watch that tomorrow and watch.
There's a
it.
couple like little things that I noticed like that, especially the second time, like where Kylo Ren and Han are on the bridge,
Oh yeah, definitely.
and you see like it's like half light from coming in from the thing, and then half red coming from the star killer thing. And as he's like talking, the light's like slowly creeping up on the red, like slowly getting more and more, and he feels like he's going to turn over, and then the light goes away and it's all red, and he's just like, whoosh, you know, like that's what mood. That's how you do mood in a movie. Like, that totally, and also the fact that like the dark side is using light to
Yeah.
build their weapon. Like that's totally reminiscent of the way of the Force and like
Yeah.
how the light and dark side work. So like I thought that was a really good like subtle, not necessarily super subtle. I mean it's noticeable, but it's something in the
It's
background
cool
most people
symbolism,
wouldn't
yeah.
think
Yeah.
about. You know.
Yeah.
Hi guys. I really liked it. I was a little skeptical, and I didn't see anything aside from the very first trailer they put out.
Oh dang.
I didn't look at anything at all. I think that
You didn't see any of the international trailers and stuff.
nope, didn't watch any of it.
Oh wow.
Which was
Well done.
awesome going
Yeah,
into
you
it,
should tell us
I
that.
didn't. Yeah, I know it was really cool. I was actually talking with my sister-in-law yesterday, and she's like, "This movie is just a remake of the other movie," and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Like it's the same story. They're introducing new characters and they're giving us like a whole new experience. They have all these old characters like." Yeah, Han got killed off. I'm sure Mark Hamill's going to get killed off in the next one or the one after that. You know, like they're introducing new characters for us to go along another journey. And it is the same story. But the way they did it was really good. Like if you look at it outside of a Star Wars movie, like it was just a really well done film. Right?
Yeah.
And so my response to her was, you just don't like Star Wars. And she does. but it was really well done. I was pleasantly surprised with Rey, her character. I really like that. I'm pretty sure she's Luke's daughter.
Yeah, I have a couple other.
Yeah,
thoughts on
I'm pretty sure she's
We'll
Luke's
come up
daughter.
with this.
Yeah, we should all do theories by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we should do that. We should do that for sure. I love their use of practical effects. Oh, I love it because it just feels so real. It feels gritty. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like you're watching a fantasy anymore. And I'm really, really happy they went back to that. And again, the lightsaber sound was brilliant. Yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. I've seen it twice, and I'm stoked. I'll probably go see it again.
Yeah. I think that I'm on the same level as you. Like everyone's always been making this big deal about like the practical effects, practical sets and stuff like that. And it's aware, but it's this great aware that people are in these sets. One, like talking about the sets in general, most of them are really big and expansive, and you can tell there's probably matte paintings or some CG behind it, but the elements that people are interacting with are real. And even the part where like it's a really intense part in the movie where she's going into she hears that call in the other room, and she's like in the basement of the canteen area, and the door opens, and I don't know if anyone else probably didn't geek out like me, but the door doesn't just like open like it kind of stutters opens. It kind of like jitters opens. It feels like the old sets on like Red Dwarf or like even Mystery Science Theater 3000 a little bit, and how they open the things, and they're real practical like sliding things. So you can tell that either that was a real practical door that opened up, which I think it was, or someone spent some time in the animation and making it feel that way. But either way, it was a good little touch that made the reality feel right. The first thing that I noticed when I was watching the movies was like I love the little creatures. I love like when that little creature pops its head out of the desert at the beginning, and with the eyes, and it's watching BB-8 roll across the desert. I'm like, yes, I love these things. I love these little weird things.
Aliens.
Like I love when they go into the cantina and you're going around through the cantina and you're seeing all these things, like that weird robot. It like turns and it has that great silhouette with the horns up and it has the blue lights. Like that can be done in an illustration. That can be done in an animation and stuff. But it's so much more menacing, I think, when you see it in real life with the practical lights on it and everything. Mm-hmm. It feels like, oh, that's kind of freaky. Like, that thing's, like, looking at me like, it's really looking at me, you know?
It's funny because that opening scene, like, after the credits roll and everything, and the first little battle scene when Kylo Ren comes down to the thing. And it is a set, and then they pan out to, like, a CG bit, and then they go back to the set. But it felt like... I was a bit underwhelmed to begin with. I was like, oh, this looks a bit noticeable. Like, it looks like a sort of made-for-TV movie. But then I was like, well, no, I'm just not used to actually seeing on-set, like,
real
location
stuff. Yeah.
Like, like especially with lasers and lightsabers. Like, I'm so used to seeing green screen crap from the prequels. And then when he runs over to his X-Wing, I was like, oh, that's an actual X-Wing. Like, they built that X-Wing. And I was like, this is great. I haven't seen one of those in ages. You know, they would have CG'd the crap out of that. You know?
So here's another cool thing, too. Like, with the creatures, one creature that I'm not sure about, maybe I can get your guys' opinion on. The big creature that's in the town where Finn runs over and he's drinking the water out of the hole.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And there's that big warthog thing standing there. I think that that warthog thing, the way that its legs move, I think there are people inside of that. And I think that the back is all... practical, and its head is CG because it has that straight on head shot where
I can see
that nose doesn't look right, but the butt looks like real, like someone made that butt out of like cloth and cardboard and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the way its feet move and its body, like the cloth moves really, like it looks like cloth. It doesn't look like a simulation of cloth. So like there's little things like that I'm like totally like jazzed about. I'm like happy to see that they probably attempted to do that practically, and maybe the face didn't all work out or not. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that they tried to attempt to do it practically, and then they still kept with the practical body with the face. I think it still molds together. No one's going to notice, like, other than a weird geek like me. But I just like those things. I love the fact that they're taking that and moving in that Muppety type of universe that Star Wars lived in before with Yoda and everything, you know? So the lightsabers were awesome, but think back to the lightsabers in 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. Like the battles in that, my friend brought up the other day, they're kind of like they're staged more like a samurai movie, and heavier and less like actiony. But this didn't have that. It had a little bit of that, but it had a little bit of the 1, 2, and 3, which everyone says, oh, 1, 2, 3, that was awful. Like you could tell it's on green screen and stuff. But those lightsaber battles were pretty cool.
The way that they moved were better in those ones than they were in the originals.
Yeah, like the martial arts ability to like how they're handling the lightsabers were really interesting. And I like that this was kind of a mix between those two, where it's like the lightsabers are still heavy, like because that's what George Lucas was kind of like focused on before, is that like it's a light, but you're supposed to hold it like it's a heavy object, like it's a sword. Mm-hmm. And in the old ones, he kind of went away from that, but I'm not sure why. They acted more like katanas, you know, because katanas are really like light. But this one, it feels like they're heavy, but they also at times they have light, like sensibility, where like they slice through trees, and that whole tree forest felt very bamboo forest from like an anime or something, you know what I mean? So I was super jazzed about the fight scenes, and I loved it. I thought overall it was an awesome movie. If I had to give like some doubt about it, it's pretty not predictable. Convenient that all the things lined up. But the second time I watched it, it made more sense because those conveniences became tie-ins to the rest of the story. Like the fact where she's on the planet and the guy who has the thumb drive to Luke is also on the planet.
The thumb drive to Luke.
And so she happens to be this really great Force user.
She's Luke's kid.
Yeah. Well, she's Luke's kid. Let's be real. She is Luke's kid, and you know by the last scene, because they don't talk to each other. That's how I know that she's Luke's kid. But they're on the same planet. But the second time I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah, well he would probably leave the drive with the guy because he's probably overseeing her on the planet. Like he's not just like there on the side. And I'm almost thinking that the junkyard owner guy might be a bigger part too.
He is.
Because
it's Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
That's Simon
the guy that did the junkyard guy.
The guy who gives the portions.
And who has the Millennium Falcon and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was way coincidental. Like like when they introduce it, it's great. But I was like, oh my gosh, really? It's just sitting there on the planet. Same with where all BB-8 was. But I think all of that was planned. I think that not necessarily planned, but like it's all been relatively orchestrated using somewhat of the Force and also somewhat of like Luke keeping tabs on his kid. You know what I mean?
That's one of my issues though, is like you can find coincidence in everything, and we've gone over this with Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man. It's everywhere, and if you really want to like be upset about it, then you can find a way to be upset about it. I just don't think it's ever a valid argument against a movie. It's like, oh,
well, all movies.
Well, the one thing on this movie that was a little cheesy, and I think all of you are gonna have to agree, was the second part of the map was in R2, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, he's a robot. You could have like really, you have starships that can fly light speed, and you can't hack into a robot. And not to mention, we're looking for a map that's digital. Obviously it came from like the Death Star or the Empire or somewhere, because they were like looking at the temples, the Jedi temples. So like that's got to be somewhere else, and someone's got to have stuff like that. But that aside, the fact that R2 doesn't wake up until and really for no reason he wakes up. I actually read online like what J.J. Abrams was implying there, and it's implied that BB-8 comes over and tells R2 while he's talking back and forth with him, hey, I have a piece of a puzzle. And then R2 goes, oh yeah, that's what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for someone to tell me they have the piece to a puzzle, because I have the rest of it. And that's what wakes him up. And I'm like, that's a little...
See, the way I read it is that, like, R2 is basically just twinned with Luke. Like, that's his companion.
That's how I read it too.
That's
because he's depressed.
Yeah,
Depressed,
that's kind of what I thought too. But like, I looked online, that's really what Abrams was.
No, that's like I read what he said too.
Oh, really?
Talk about being in a depression, yeah, and like he comes out of it like.
That he just comes out of it because Luke comes out of it, or?
No, because Luke's not in a depression. Like he's in a depression because
Luke's missing.
Yeah, but then BB-8 having it, he's gonna like, oh, then that's the piece that I need, because BB-8 has the important piece. Yeah. It's like R2 has the starter piece, and BB-8 has the piece that says this is where he's at.
But I do agree with Scott that for C-3PO to be like, he's just turned off. I doubt he has that in there, instead of being like, hey, let's check.
Yeah. Maybe maps it. I think they
when
also...
has 3PO ever been a go get him?
Well, right. Here's
anybody.
Here's one thing that I kind of think that they did miss though, is it would have been nice if R2 had some real battle damage, like maybe like something that was really like wrong with him, like piece was cut off him or something, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, R2 might not start up ever again, like this is just how it is. And you kind of assume that that's just how it is, and C-3PO is fine with it. But then when BB-8 comes over, it would be fun to have that little back and forth with the bots, like they did in some of the other ones, where it's just like, the little thing comes out, whoa, and he's able to like start it back up a bit, like. That would have been cool to get some of that back and forth with the robots a bit, because C-3PO just kind of pops in. Hey, I'm C-3PO, and I have a red arm. Bye. Like,
I think that really would have kind of like hindered the pacing, because it was a longer movie anyways. Mm-hmm. I think if you start throwing in a scene where it's like, we're gonna charge you up, here we go. Like, I think that would have been.
And again, this is just like bickering. Like, again, it's a great movie. Everything went out well, but it's just kind of like, could it have happened a different way?
So I have a question. We were talking about the lightsabers. What did you guys think of the gun that was also part lightsaber that the stormtrooper happened to have?
That was pretty cool, but it's kind of weird that it popped in all of a sudden, like out of nowhere.
It is weird because you don't see anyone else use them.
Yeah,
and even that guy, you see him drop a shield, and I was saying like that's the very early design of stormtroopers. They had lightsabers and shields.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a nice little nod, but you don't see any other stormtroopers with shields or this little baton thing. But I really liked it. I thought it was so cool.
That's the thing, though. Like, I know that they all started that way. Well, they all started with just swords, And we could argue that, well, they should all just be samurais in the space. But this is the only dude that has it. But nobody's supposed to be able to create a weapon that's a lightsaber unless you have part of the Force in you, right?
I don't think it's not a fully lightsaber. It's like a taser.
If you go back to Revenge of the Sith, Grievous actually has those droids, and they've got those shock sticks that can actually repel lightsaber blades.
That's what I was curious about, because it's like lightsabers should cut through anything, but this one stormtrooper happens to have this gun that can
Here's the other thing about lightsabers. So lightsabers, like I talked to this... I thought you had to be Force sensitive to use lightsaber, but you don't, because Han uses it on to open up the Tauntaun, and so obviously, and Finn uses one, and so I don't think he's necessarily Force sensitive, at least from what they kind of been showing us. So, kind kind of what's because I thought that lightsabers had more of a point because the Jedis make them from
they make
crystals
them,
and
but
stuff.
that doesn't mean anything. They like they'll go and get depending on what you look at. Like Darth Maul made his like he went into if I remember right, and this is like 15 years ago. He like went into the heart of a volcano and like he meditated his crystal into existence. Like. And then other Jedi will go into
the prequels.
No, this isn't in the prequels.
This is like
I know,
like
but
stuff
it's
stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
If I remember right, it was actually done well. So don't put it in there. Son of a bitch.
He's a robot now, you know that.
No, he's not. He's got robotic legs.
I know.
You haven't even seen it. Shut up. The Clone Wars is the shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what you say. Clone Wars is better than the majority of like the original Star Wars movies. Like,
Yeah.
It's like The Force Awakens, Clone Wars, and then the other stuff.
Yeah.
Clone Wars just gets great.
Well, here's the thing for you too. So then, what's wrong with Kylo Ren's? Do you have any idea
I think
why
it's more
like
of a
that?
visual representation. Maybe he's got an unstable crystal. I mean, that's because I can't remember what the crystals are called, but there's a crystal that will channel it. Depending on the color of that crystal, that's where you get the color of your blade. But he could have an unstable crystal. But I think it's more of a symbolic thing. He's unstable. He's not really set in his way.
Yeah.
You know, if like I think all of us have a theory that he'll eventually go to the light side. I hope not. I hope he kind of stays the course, or gets killed first.
Speaking of theories and stuff, so we'll go into a little bit of speculation. Well, do you want to go to speculation corner yet, or do you want to go over
Let's
some
do
other
that for
things?
the very, very end. Let's get through what we got to say. Then we'll give our review, and then we'll.
Do you want to go over how it is pretty much verbatim New Hope? It's a new Hope.
It's the newest hope.
Yeah.
I mean, no one should ever be a guide in any of these first movies because you're gonna die. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Han. Don't guide anyone through any of the original movies, and don't walk over some sort of big event if you're like a main character ever.
Yeah.
One part about the Han dying, though, that I kind of wished, and it would have been a little more sinister, but I think it would have been more impactful, is if Han had fallen straight back and fallen onto the... Because there's no ledge on that thing, so you figured he was going to fall off anyways.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of interesting to have him fall right onto the thing and been on the bridge, and had Kylo Ren kick him off. Like, that would be so... Like, almost a shock to the face. Like, really? You just sat here and played that you were going to, like this whole thing, and you're pretty much playing at that you didn't have the strength to kill him, and now you're kicking him off.
Here we go with Scott's outlandish garbage.
No, it's not that. It's not that outlandish. It's just kind of
do
a thought,
understand.
how would that have been?
Let's have him kick the corpse a couple, and then maybe he pushes him off, but spits.
We'll have another
he's falling.
episode.
Hits him in the face.
It'll be called Scott Writes a Star Wars.
Let's have the big fire beast from Lord of the Rings jump up and grab him.
You literally just had Han Solo get killed. Everybody's already
weeping in the
I
audience.
know.
They're already feeling it, and you're like, but if he were to kick him off, then it would be a real kick in the face.
The reason why I brought it up is because it had no rails. I figured that he was going to fall off anyways, so it would have been that back and forth. Like you didn't think it was going to happen that way because you never see it happen that way. It always happens where they fall into this pit.
But that's your storytelling.
It's just an idea
coming through.
Again, it's just an idea. It really,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to see it, but it's just a thought.
I think it
what would
really
happen?
would have deterred from the fact that he just died, because now you're not paying attention to the loss of Han. You're paying attention to this guy's messed up. So which idea do you really want to convey?
Well,
do you want to
keeps
convey
his grandfather's burnt up skull in his bedroom? How nice do you think this guy is?
Yeah, but does that so do you really need to ram it home that he's messed up at that point?
Yeah,
or
true.
do you need to pay homage to the character who was a fan favorite?
Yeah,
And actually just let them experience the fact that he
yeah.
died.
I'm glad Chewie popped a shot off on him though.
Yeah.
It's if no one even got him, I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that Chewie.
I like that he's
got him.
crazy enough to punch it while they're in the fight. He's just
Oh yeah, wasn't one of the cool parts too? Is at the beginning where he stops the phaser.
Oh yeah,
my God.
yeah.
And it's just like, oh, by the way, the second time I saw it in 3D, way worth it.
Yeah,
Watch it in
yeah.
3D. If you don't mind 3D, I know that you're a little bit against 3D.
I'll give it a go.
I don't mind 3D
I
at all,
preferred it in
and
2D.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
See,
Did you watch it in 3D?
2D was better. Yeah,
I
saw
find
it.
that 3D darkens the edges.
Yeah.
A bit.
And
I
you
mean,
have to kind of shift your focus.
But
Although
I did
Russ
like
said the IMAX 3D was.
Yeah,
was
that'll
good,
be the thing.
so-
I'll know tomorrow
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm going to IMAX. I believe it's 3D tomorrow. I can tell you whether or not it looks better on.
I did like going through ships. I like when you have like a porthole that's going into another room, and it's like I like those kind of feelings and stuff.
Yeah, it worked well for some of those shots when you've got like your folks like in the center. But if you want to look at other stuff when you've got those thin 3D glasses, you're seriously like you have to look down because it like darkens everything. So you're not getting like the full frame as well when it's 3D as you do. And like Tim said, this wasn't IMAX, so I don't know how the IMAX is going to look. I imagine it's going to be pretty phenomenal, but we'll see.
Well, some other things that I noticed kind of the second time too, speaking of that, is I think I noticed the Ray, right? That's her name. I noticed her acting more. Like her facial expressions feel really like terrified. Like she did a really good job of being like, it's almost these ugly faces that you wouldn't want to really show somebody, but it's like these faces that's what happens when you're scared.
faces.
You're like, oh god, like you
like
feel
when the
like
saber's right here and she's just like contorting her face to try and get away from it and she's just terrified.
it's like there's like so many times, and like I love like the little bit of acting that she has when the stormtrooper she's asking it to like come in here and unlock me, and he's like, and that, by the way, that's Daniel Craig.
Oh, is that Daniel Craig?
Yeah.
That's
That's awesome.
And-
I didn't know where he was at.
Yeah, and he walks in, and then she's just like, you're gonna unlock me. It's like, oh yeah, heck yeah, like
I'm gonna tighten these restraints.
Like they were tightened on me in Casino Royale.
He just gets like a bundled up rope and starts like hitting
It's funny because that's the scene that I noticed her acting on the second time we watched it. Like, I'm like listening and I was like, I wonder how she's gonna sell it that she's not confident. And I paid attention to the way her voice kind of cracks a little bit and breaks. And I was like, well done. Like,
Yeah.
she just did really good.
Well, even at the very end, her face changes as she's holding the saber for Luke. Like that subtle change was like.
Well, even like when she's blocking it at first, when they're in the fight, she's like up there. She looks like she's grimacing and just barely holding on, and then he says the Force, and then she's like thinks like the Force, and like she just goes to like this Zen state.
Yeah.
And then that Zen takes over, and she just starts beating the hell out of him. It's
yeah.
like,
Check out the
oh
eyes.
my
Watch her
God,
eyes, because
cool.
the
I'm going
lasers
to.
I
I'm so
swear
stoked.
changed. I
I'm
don't
so
think they're
stoked.
the same. And I think it's kind of cool. That's like balanced to the.
Here's how well she pulled it off. Andrea isn't a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
We watched all the movies, so she kind of know where we were at going in. But when Rey got the lightsaber and it turned it on, she's like, I just got the chills like crazy. And then she had to go and see it. She's seen it 2 times too.
Yeah.
So she's not even a Star Wars fan, and she's seen it more than this poser.
I know.
Well, what's an interesting factoid too that was kind of weird was when she first sees Kylo Ren and she's blasting him with the blaster in the forest. She walks to that little canyon area and then up that little cliff and she's blasting him, just freaked out. But then, did you notice that I think it's the exact same set that she has where she's running through, but they're fighting and they have the lightsabers, and I think that's a really cool parallel too. Is that they're giving them the exact same area, but this time it's not about her being a scared, frightened person. She understands what's happening. She kind of knows what's going on, and it shows in there. She has the confidence to get through that scene, especially because I think she jumps against either she jumps or he jumps against one of the rocks and bounces up. Like that was cool. Like
the way the lightsabers are like impacting the snow, and there's just like,
like skimming through it, and it's like
so cool.
Yeah.
All that steam. Oh my god. I want to watch it again, like right now.
I know.
So should we give a review and then go into? Does anybody have anything they really want to add?
Well,
Really, I think
I'm cool with geeking out just for as long as you guys are willing to geek out about it.
I'm good to geek out, but I think that we should give our reviews and then we should spectate.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you guys
Thumbs
going
up.
for me?
Yeah, are we just doing like the quick review, like thumb up, thumb down?
I'm gonna give it a number.
Okay.
Out of 10.
Number out of okay, so number out of 10 and
The
I'll
number
go
out
first.
of 10.
Oh,
I'll
I
go
didn't
first.
give it 10.
I'll go first because I don't know, maybe I'll be the weird person here, but I definitely don't think it was a 10 because I as much as
I don't
people
think
say
there is
it's
a 10.
perfection. To me, no movie's perfection because if you actually like movies and stories, you know that there's probably a better way or something more that they could have added in there. And maybe it would have alienated, maybe it wouldn't, but there's always more that you can add to
Or
a story.
subtract.
Yeah.
They could have
And-
just cut that shot with Luke at the very end by like 5 seconds.
I think so.
And
Probably.
then it probably would have gotten a 10.
Yeah.
That's gonna.
So I think it's probably like an 8.5, 9.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a really strong movie. It's really fun. It has a lot of really good like moral dilemmas. A bit. It has this whole family feud through the whole thing. But if you came in and just watched the movie itself, you'd still be very entertained at not knowing the rest of the past. But knowing the rest of the past kind of excels it to another level, which is really cool that that's what they're doing with the universe.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd put it, like 8.5,
Yeah.
9.
I'd give it a definite 8 and a possible 9,
Yeah.
depending on how many times I've seen it. Like if I was to go back and watch it the 5th time, I don't think I'd give it as good as a 9. Maybe I'd take
Yeah.
a 9 over.
Yeah. I'm just gonna give it a strong 8.
Bunch of pussyfooting around. I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Damn.
It's as good as a Star Wars is going to get. I believe.
Right on.
I think so. Because
Do you think this is the best out of the series?
Yep.
You think it's the best out of the series?
Yeah, and I think that there's things to be like arguments to be made for Empire. I mean,
Sure.
back when it first came out, nobody knew that Yoda was Yoda, and nobody knew that Vader was the father. So when it first comes out, it's got like that appeal and that power. But in terms of just filmmaking in general and the way that they executed it, oh, it's better. It's by far better.
I think to give it a real firm judgment, I'll have to wait like a year to see what I think after the
That's
hype
pretty
is
fair.
gone.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm super hyped about it. I want to say, yeah, I think it's the best. But there are other...
we should revisit it in a year.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should. And just kind of see what we think. Right now, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
But it might change. Yeah, I think that's really a fair assessment.
So.
Cool.
So theories? Anybody?
Theories.
All right.
Raise Luke's daughter.
Oh, easy.
I want to tell you a theory that I've been digging to tell you guys. Well, okay, so I came in like a few months ago and I said, I just figured out something huge to you, and I never told anyone else because you were like, tell someone else because I want to listen to it, and I didn't tell anyone because I think it was really close, and obviously it is because the theory was that Kylo Ren was Han's kid. I figured that out, and I figured out that Kylo Ren was going to kill Han, and that whole aspect of the son killing the father again with this weird sick family tradition that they have going on in the Skywalker family. But I also think but
I know.
Yeah, he shoots first.
but I think that there's another side of the prediction that wasn't granted here, and it might not be answered necessarily in the next, or maybe it won't be answered at all. But why? I guess they should answer it. Why Kylo Ren goes to the dark side? You know what I mean? And that's where the speculation of mine comes in. Where I think when the Empire falls, when Darth Vader dies and the Emperor dies, that's like the president and the commander in chief, the
Vice
right.
president?
Well, not even vice president. It's like over the military is who Darth Vader
Yeah.
was, really. It died in the same day from, well, no, not the same person, but kind of the same battle.
Sure.
And what would that affect? Because this government was governing over the galaxy. Like, to a lot of people, like, the Empire was probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't really see the bad side of the Empire. So I think that fall of the Empire is going to be interesting if they delve into that. And I think that what should happen is the Luke and Leia and Han should kind of go underground and not be talking that they are who they are, especially Luke. And I think when he starts training other Jedis, he's doing it under a different name, and Kylo Ren doesn't know that he's Luke and that he killed Vader. And I think that there's a lot of propaganda. Like, this would be an interesting idea, and maybe it's not true, but there's a lot of propaganda back and forth that Vader was a good guy and he did a lot of good things for the Republic. And then when he finds out Luke is Luke Skywalker, he's been training him, he's his uncle, and he killed his grandfather, that's what sets Kylo Ren off on this, like, dark tangent.
I don't think so. And here's why.
Why is that?
I don't think Disney's going to play with the nature of, some of these guys could be good. Some of the guys from the Empire feel like they're doing good. That I think it's definitely too much of a black and white universe. I mean, Han Solo.
Westerns are very much.
But I think if it was something else, then you might be onto something. But just because of like the nature of Star Wars, the dark and the light, they don't play with that. It's you're good or you're bad. You're not in between.
Yeah.
You know, and you can switch.
But they do play with it a little
not-
bit in this. If you wanted to stretch your vision of playing with it, with Finn being a soldier and
No,
not
but-
being okay.
but-
He's been conditioned since he's a kid
And
to
here's the
kill.
thing: is he never once killed. He never once killed, and he says it. He's like, I got my first battle, and he's like, I couldn't do it. I made a decision right then and there. He doesn't want to kill, and he won't kill for the bad guys, and that's how like he is still clean as could be by the time he gets out. So that doesn't really hold up. I mean, just because he wore a stormtrooper uniform, that doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
He only kills when he's on the good side.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works, but it's.
I know. Yeah, he instantly goes to he's okay with killing on the good side, but which is kind of interesting because it's like killing is killing. Like, I mean, they don't really play with the fact of like in Star Wars necessarily like this really taboo fact of like if you kill someone, you're killing them. You know what I mean? But they just fine with it being black or white. You know?
Yeah. But and that's the thing is like most of our media doesn't play with that, and the ones that do are like deeper source material. You know, when you look at the fact that not everybody's bad. I mean, Game of Thrones is one of the ones, in my opinion. You know, some things that the Lannisters do are terrible, but some things that they do are good. Like they're not this black and white thing. It's like life has many different shades, but this will never be
like the way that they
things.
treat Cersei in season 5, where she's all going through town. They're just like, yeah, it's like.
But they can victimize that because you know it's nobody deserves that sort of treatment even if you do terrible things. But you're not going to get that with Star Wars. It's going to be black or white, and so I don't think that theory is going to be legit. I don't think it's going to be like I'm hiding my name. Like I think they're going to be pretty confident after they beat the Empire. You know, they just took out their second battle station, the second Death Star, and they took out the Emperor. They took out Darth Vader. Darth Vader took out the Emperor for them. You know, Darth Vader he died a good man on some level, you know.
Well, he turned good, and that's the thing that I don't think Kylo Ren understands about Vader. And hopefully we'll move into that a little later. I think with this ending, where Kylo Ren is like slashed in the face, he's messed up. You know, what I mean, he's gonna have some messed up scars on his face. His arm is all melted from the lightsaber hitting his shoulder. His leg has been phasered and then lightsabered a bunch of times. Like so, I think like that with his final. Completion of his training or whatever that Snoke talks about, I think it's going to be similar to Darth Vader, where he's going to go into the suit and because my wife was like, oh, he took off his mask and that makes him less of a bad guy because he took his mask off. I don't think we're going to see him until the end. If even at the end, maybe he might live on and not reveal himself till way later.
Be stuck in it
because that's what's he's gonna have some sort of weird disposition now after all these things have unfolded, and I think that's what's gonna really make him an interesting character to watch. Right now he's not that interesting, and that's why it's okay to see his face.
Yeah,
he's interesting, but he's mainly like an anger management problem, you know, like
Rey's like I'd say 90% sure that it's Luke's daughter. The fact that the lightsaber called out to her the way it did, the fact that they talk about it being passed down from Anakin to Luke, and now it's hers. And then the fact that in one of the trailers you hear Luke's voice and he's like, the Force is strong in my family. Yeah. I have it. My sister has it. My father had it. And now you have it.
Yeah.
All of that is alluding very heavy-handedly to the fact that it would be her. And also, while, you know, we're getting the fact that Kylo Ren has some of the Skywalker blood in him, he's not the direct descendant of Skywalker. You know, he doesn't carry the name Skywalker, and I think that she will. And I think it's going to be awesome. The fact that he disappeared and she was kind of stranded on a desert planet, imagine that.
If you want to look for like really good Jedi, just go to desert planets, junkyards or farms. Like that's the place to be.
But yeah, I think this followed the formula, just like Ian said, very, very, very closely. I don't see them breaking away from it. I love the fact that it's going to be a girl that's a Jedi. I think one of the things that I'm most excited to see, though, is what are the Knights Ren? And it's funny because a lot of people didn't pick up that Snoke says, and he's like, you are Kylo of the Knights Ren. Yeah. And like when I heard that, it was just like, we fought with your father. I fought with your father in the Clone Wars. I was just like, ooh, goddamn, what are these Knights Ren? And then you see in the vision she gets when she picks up the lightsaber, you see him standing in the rain, and it's like some of them use like blasters and stuff. So we've got some really cool, and I imagine that they're all going to be Force users. I just hope not all of them use lightsabers and stuff. So that'll be cool.
So do you think the next one will be the darkest of the three?
I think so.
If
I
it's
think they're
following
going to
the-
follow it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they will.
I think so too. Big question: who's Snoke? What is he
Don't
to
know.
everything?
Don't know. There's too
Who-
little information.
Who the hell is Captain Phasma?
Well, I know, and that's the, well, that's well. I want to hit back on Snoke a little bit later, but Captain Phasma, like, she totally messed everything up. Like, one, I wish that the stormtrooper with the laser thing was her, because that would have been
That
more
would
of
have
a
been
hierarchy
awesome.
to
Yeah.
what it was. But two, she had the opportunity to pretty much make that base totally secure, and she folded like a sack of shit, you know. it's like they didn't have to do anything to her. I thought she
Yeah.
was gonna get up, and when the thing turned red, I was like, I thought she was gonna get up and be like, it's not that easy. You're gonna have to kill me or something like that, you know. And then there would be another battle, but it was like, oh, it's not that easy. We're gonna just be on you, and it's like, oh, really? That's it?
Yeah.
Live to fight another day, man.
You think she's gonna come
You
back
would
and
think.
be a bigger part?
I think she'll be back.
If that's the case, then
'Cause she got thrown
that
into
does
the
prove that she is a person in
Mhm.
there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think she comes back. I don't think she's done.
Yeah.
Well, the theory on Snoke, this is a way big what if. I've heard people speculating.
You
on
don't do
this.
what ifs, Scott.
I know, right? Is that it's Darth Plagueis, the guy who was orchestrating
It's not Darth Plagueis.
the,
Get out of here.
the original emperor,
No.
and he tried to kill him and he didn't die.
Okay, stop.
Why? Why is it not?
Because it's. Why would it be?
Well, because he's
Plagueis is just going to take a back seat to everything. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, he might
No.
lay low for those last 3 movies because it's like, why do I need to interrupt like my the person who was
Because
just
Sith don't take
organizing?
second seats, man.
The person I've been organizing is doing just fine a job. I'll let him screw everything up, and then I'll step in and take supreme leader at that point.
And then I'm gonna get smoked by an old man, a hairy dog, and then some kid who doesn't know what he's doing.
He didn't get smoked by an old man, a hairy dog, and someone who doesn't know what they're doing. You talking about the big base?
Are you talking about Phasma?
Well, no, I'm talking about Snoke. But like, so
Oh,
you're saying because he ruined the
I have
ruined
no
the
idea
big
about
Death Star
Snoke.
planet
I have
thing?
no idea about Snoke. People are weird with their theories, man. They're
Yeah.
pulling stuff out of their butts. Could it be? Yeah. But nobody knows anything yet.
No,
So
no.
let's
it's,
theorize
it's
about
ultimate,
something we
it's
don't know
ultimate
anything.
speculation.
All right,
There's
let's move
nothing.
on.
There's nothing there.
God damn it, Scott.
God damn it.
Now that we're in the Christmas spirit,
Yeah. Good old family fight at Christmas. That sounds
yeah, I think this is good. No, we love each other as much as we yell at each other. I want you guys to open your presents.
good. Oh,
Merry
shucks.
Christmases, you guys. I got you presents. For
I got you
Scott.
presents.
Oh, look at all this.
I'll get on this. So, this
All right.
is a very wankery Christmas.
Are we doing it?
Yeah, you all do it at the same time. Then
You guys got 2, so you open yours.
Well, you
first.
open yours, dude.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you had that one.
I don't have this one.
Oh.
Dude, this is awesome.
Oh hell yeah!
Ah, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So mine is Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles.
Of course.
Because I'm Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles. I'll put that up there so people can see it. Hopefully.
Mine's a Brotherhood of Steel power armor. That's freaking awesome.
Mine is Lady Sylvanas, my queen.
You know what's
Awesome,
funny?
thank you,
Just
Tim.
to be a real
Yeah.
note about this, I've got the Lone Wanderer and the Vault Boy, and I went to get this one, but they'd been sold out for months.
That's
when
awesome.
And so
You
I
want to know
had-
how I
never-
knew that? I watch you while you sleep.
He was in the same
Tim
shop
is
at the
actually
same
Santa
time.
Claus.
Thanks,
He,
man.
he,
funny.
he knocked one off the roof and he stole his clothes
Thank
like
you,
the
Tim.
Santa
That
Claus.
is so kind.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Merry
Awesome.
Christmas.
Open up your gifts.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, yeah.
They're just sex toys.
It's just a
Are they
picture of
homemade?
Scott's face.
They're homemade.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that is awesome.
Sweet.
Pixel Pops, I got Han Solo,
I got Luke.
and you
Got one
got...
as well. That is freaking cool.
So I figured pixels in the name of the Pixel
Perfect.
Wankers.
That's
Do a little pixel Star Wars guys.
Thanks,
That
man.
is
great,
awesome.
dude.
Thanks,
That's awesome.
guys. Well, how do you guys want to wrap it up?
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good
Wank.
wank.
We need to have like Santa Claus fly over my head at that point.
Is that snow?
No.
Is that someone on the rooftop I hear?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, check us out on Podbean, and talk to us on Facebook. Let us know what you thought about the new Star Wars.
Indeed.
And,
give us your theories. Give us your reviews.
And your speculations.
Yeah. Yeah, don't let the conversation end here. Please let us know what you think. If you like it, if you don't like it, let us know. And may the force be with you.
Oh, God.